A few months ago, we took a look at Frozenheim and covered a lot of the major updates since the first time we had checked it out when it entered early access many years ago. But now, Frozenheim, as of yesterday, has been fully released. Hello again there, friends and fans. Raptor here, and yes, indeed, this is a Viking city builder, and yes, indeed, it does have real-time combat and also shipbuilding, a survival mode, multiplayer, skirmish mode, and a full campaign, which I want to take a look at sometime in the future. So, if you haven't already, make sure you go ahead and subscribe to the channel and turn on that notification bell, and smash like if you'd like to see more real-time strategy games and city builder games. If you're familiar with games like, for example, Banished or Ostriv, and if you're familiar with games like Ancestors Legacy, then the combat and the city building will be all too familiar to you. Of course, in this game, we're not just building a settlement to survive for a few months or a few years, but really tens and maybe almost like 50 to 100 years in certain positions, where it feels like we've lasted winter after winter, summer after summer, building up our people and our city in order to survive invasion and launch invasion against others with massive ships we can build, all different sizes for transport and raiding and for ramming enemy ships. Pretty cool, actually. So as I mentioned, there is a multiplayer mode to the game, as you would expect. You and other competitors or an ally build cities and attack other Viking settlements as you go to war on land and at sea. There's a lovely tutorial for the game as well to cover all the complex city building aspects to it, and really it mostly works similar to how it is in Frostpunk, for example. You click on a building or a site and assign people to that, and it'll work like that. The UI is pretty similar to that, and you can see a lot of inspiration from other city builder games and survival games here, but with a unique take on Vikings with a little bit more realism to it. If you've ever played Northgard before, this is a little bit more on the realistic side, where yes, there are totems and other things that you can build, and yes, you'll be given like kind of mythical advantages which are just magically given to you by praying to certain gods, but it's really nothing less than that in terms of realism. Again, more similar to Ancestors Legacy. There's a full-fledged campaign for the game and also a custom scenario where you can play against the AI, multiple players for that. There's a skirmish mode, of course, that mimics multiplayer just against the AI. There's a city building mode, which is basically a, well, you against nature. It's like a simulator for just city building, and that allows you to, as it says, build a city and try to survive. You can take pictures. There's a beautiful photo mode in the game, so if you'd like to practice certain things like your builds for multiplayer and quickly building troops or preparing defenses like building towers and building walls, this is a good mode to do that, not to mention to learn all the material requirements and such for other things, such as turning bog iron into iron and seeing how quickly you can make troops. And of course the survival mode, which is a endless or near endless, depending on how you set your waves, amounts of troops and infantry and archers and wolves and such that will attack you over and over and over. So that is probably the best mode for preparing your defenses, and to also not only prepare walls and towers, but also to keep track of your troops and have them veterans, so that way they can defend against constant invasion and onslaught. Well, today I think we're going to take a look at the survival mode yet again, as we had before, and I definitely want to see the campaign covered on the channel too. So if you'd like to see that, let me know. If you want a series down below, you got to be absolutely vocal about it, and let me know if you'd like me to do a full playthrough for it, because I would love to conquer this campaign. And it might differ from when I first took a look at it when it was in pre-early access, maybe a beta status long ago. And I think it's quite interesting as well. So if you're a big fan of games like Northgard, Frozenheim, God of War, or even, oh, there was another Viking city builder that I can not recall, make sure you let me know. All right, let's go ahead and jump into the survival mode, and let's see what we can do. Welcome to Frozenheim. Just a side note, by the way, to briefly mention it, the campaign actually has several different campaigns together. In the lower left, you can see the purple, and then in the middle to the left, you can see red, and in the middle, yellow, blue, and then to the right of that, green, as well as a large area down here too. So the campaign takes place across different lands and with different tribes and characters and such too. So that's something I'm really extra excited about, because I think I've only played through the first 2 or 3 missions that were available at the time, and now it looks like the first mission is more of a tutorial with the first main mission unlocked as well. So that looks promising. Alright, let's get into survival mode for Frozenheim. Right, so welcome to RAPTORIA. What's really cool about this game, too, is that the little loading longhouse or whatnot, the loading screen every time you will load the game will change to either be Viking longboats or the longhouse or whatnot, and our colors are selected here and you can see them in the background. Pretty cool. We'll go with this blue and red layout. We can also name our settlement, and we can also choose different maps that have different types of advantages and disadvantages, different things that you can find. For example, some are more lush for forest for deer and for logging, and then others have more bog metal, which is great for building all sorts of different iron buildings and such that require that, and also weaponry. So they all have something a little different to them. I think this time around I would like to go to Haunted Shores on survival. We can have all sorts of different changes to this, I guess, to modify things. Every playthrough will be a little different, and you can also use a generated map, which is experimental at the moment. But rather than the same handcrafted map, you can have a procedurally generated one. Let's go. Survival, Haunted Shores. Defend against waves of enemies of increasing difficulty. It is cold during the winter. The birth rate is lower this time of year. Ah, yes. Ilvalhall. Let's go. Well, there's our little Viking settlement. Isn't that cute? Well, we got ourselves some troops right away. And we've got some scouts, too. Go ahead and take a look at some of the things that we can build. We better start with some houses. That way we can increase our population. Scroll wheel to rotate buildings. And go ahead and start putting down some houses right away. And yeah, as you can see, things are a little bit like how they are in Frostpunk. Or at least, I don't know. I get Frostpunk vibes whenever I see this. I'm going to go ahead and see how many villagers we have here. We're going to assign maybe 2 to building. And we'll have people go out and grab things and move things around via cart and whatnot. We can now build a well, which is for fire prevention. We'll do that a little bit more in a minute. Let's go ahead and put down another house just out front. There we go. Second house going up. Now at the top you can see our population and our limits. We have things like available workers. We have food. We have mead. We have wood and stone. We also have iron and bog iron, which needs to be smelted down. Animal skins, and then eventually clothes, which are used for some of the troops as well. Fishing camps and hunters' huts are required for any sort of living. And we need ourselves a woodcutter's hut too, so that way we can produce firewood for the winter, which will come very soon. So these battles don't take place over the course of, just a couple of months or a couple of days, or just, as if the time is frozen. It takes place over years and years. Survive enemy attacks. So we've set it up now for 10 minutes. Next wave spawns is in 20 minutes. What? That seems way too long, actually. Well, we'll see how it goes.
Inte långt ifrån.
Yo. Okay, let's see. What do we got here? Well, there's actually voice acting now. That's pretty cool. Yeah, we're going to need a lot more materials now. Of course, the woodcutter's hut will cut down trees for us, so we're going to put 3 workers on that. We'll need the wood then to build homes, since we only have 5. We can also, oh, look at how lush the landscape looks too, by the way. Lots of trees and brush and bushes and such around. And as the people move, similar to Ostriv and also in Foundation, they will make the roadways based on where they're walking from in frequency. So obviously if they're going to a shoreline to gather if you have a bunch of fishing huts and such down by the water, going to be a lot of foot traffic down there, and thus a lot of oh, look at how cool that looks. Yeah, so a lot of foot traffic equals roads being made. Hey, good. Bog iron already found in the forest. We have some stone deposits there. Let's send out the scouts. Can we do an automatic scouting? Well, we'll just go ahead and move around just a little bit, and we'll keep our focus on the city building aspect, because that seems the most interesting for now. Okay, we've got our people cutting down trees. That's good. And there they go. Whoa, careful. Awfully close to the building. Yeah, it's just a little animation. So here's how it'll work. Buildings will hold supplies that they produce or gather. So for example, here we see that we have 7 logs, and the workers that we assign to the Jarl's homestead will actually come over with the carts, and they'll pick those things up. So the workers will go to and from their main building to store things, and the carts we'll pick them up and bring them back to the Jarl's homestead, and that will consider it to be an actual collected resource. So we could have 10 billion wood here, but unless it's in the Jarl's home, it doesn't count. Construction teams cannot help out that way. All right, let's go ahead and continue to assign a few more people for work. We're going to get 6 here, so that way people can immediately come and go to different locations, and we can, of course, change things as we need. Looks like there's a collector's guild here, which is perfect for the stone, and also another one for the iron. Keep in mind that if we're going to be fortifying this position too, we probably want to keep a lot of the buildings close together, which is a good and a bad thing. It's good because, of course, it'll be less materials to actually defend our camp and less walls to actually monitor, and so thus less troops to do it. But closer together means the faster spreading of fire. You probably guessed it. Let's see what else we can make. Oh yes, boats can be placed into the water so we can explore early and also go looking for relics and other things around. There's the wells there now. We don't really risk fire until we get to, like, for example, the tier 2. So let's go ahead and make another building here. So to get to the second tier for the Jarl, we just need to provide 20 wood, 10 stone, and 5 iron. And that'll allow us to unlock even more buildings and kind of let us progress to more advanced production of troops and gathering of materials and such. Now, just like how it is in other games like Surviving the Aftermath and whatnot, we can set gathering zones for our Collector's Guild. So we can actually do the same with the Woodcutter's Hut too, and we can place it further out into the forest, so that way they can cut down more trees. It's also the same for the Hunter too, and since we've actually got some more materials, we're going to go ahead and put the Hunter's Hut down too. We'll kind of keep these buildings somewhat close together. They all look great. Very unique looking buildings, very nicely detailed. And of course it's nice to also see some of them having lighting, others having ropes and such tied to them. And it's also nice because you can identify the different colors for whatever base you may be attacking. So if all you see is some homes, you can definitely easily tell that you're not at a circus, you're at an enemy's camp. Alright, looks like we're entering the spring into the summer. And just like how it works in other games, especially with some of them actually having more food production in the winter, or rather in the summer and spring, and the winter being a better time for building, just like in Northgard, that kind of simulates that quite well. So you must prepare for the winter all the time. And of course, the nice thing about the Hunter's Hut is that it actually also produces leather, so that's going to be needed for our troops eventually. Archers and such will take that. Alright, the Collector's Guild number 1 is gathering stone for us. We're going to need another Collector's Guild to go and gather bog iron. We're also going to need a bloomery to smelt that, so we'll probably put that out over here in front of the Jarl's hut there. Alright, we got about 13 minutes to the first attack, and another thing you can do at the start of this game is prepare more and more troops. We don't really need to explore too much now because we're going to be defending. The enemy's coming to us, so the only thing we're going to find out there is some other camps that we can do quests for. There are NPCs out there that may be attacked by bandits and they want you to clear them, or they want you to bring some materials for them, or maybe you can find, like, I think there's like overturned carts and other things that you can get for free supplies. So exploration is a good thing, but you want to probably use your scouts for that. Now the enemy can arrive via landing zones on the shore, you know, hence they are Vikings, but they can also attack via the ground and land elsewhere, and or not at all. And so it's kind of a good idea to make sure you keep an eye on everybody who may be around. Okay, great. Now we've just assigned a few more people to go gather the deer for us, so we'll get venison, aka meat. I guess it breaks all down to food in the end. We can also do farming in the game too, so it does also count that as a food once it's been prepared. Another Collector's Guild now that we can use to gather more stone and more iron. I think we're going to do double on the stone. Now, as this game was developed over time, the game has changed quite a bit to where some things are a little easier to do and gather, and some things I think still should be changed, but of course giving feedback to the devs will make it much more better impact if everyone agrees and gives feedback for that kind of thing. So, but for this mode so far, so good. We're gonna go check over here now. Looks like for the most part we're on a peninsula, if not an island, if we find that this is isolated here, which is going to be a good and a bad thing. An island means that it's going to be harder for them to attack us, especially over here where there's large cliffs. But a bad thing because we can't really go and do quests and things without traveling via boat, and that's expensive for materials. So we're on an island fortress. Interesting. We've got some no bog iron at the moment, so we'll keep that shut down for now. Going for mostly the stone. And to upgrade the Jarl's house, we need more stone, which is exactly why I doubled down on that if I could. Yep. So we got both of these groups gathering about 200 stone is there, 188 remaining. Very nice. Again, very beautiful game. Love the fact that they put in a city build mode. I think there could even be more modes for this game, and I do wish more games would do more city build mode. For example, like Age of Empires 4, more economics in those games would be great. And even with this one, it'd be cool to see more trading and to see it be more of a brutal city builder survival game. But the Vikings are pretty hardy, and so they're able to get by with minimal stuff. And they're able to just kind of adapt and survive without too many needs for different types of vanities. Alright, so let's see. We've got 2 out of 20 for our team limit, so I think that just means that there's a... I think this is based on our infantry. Yeah, team limit is infantry. So 1 is our axe throwers here, I believe. The troops look great. You can train them up. And, wow, they actually look really cool. And there's different buildings to build, such as a barracks and also an archery range, I think I do recall. So let's see what else we can build for them. Boats and a trainee field, so let's get that out front. We can build that here. We'll build a well as well. Actually, I would like to see if we can quickly upgrade. Let's see, housing space must be at least 30. Okay. So we need to build more homes. Training fields going up there. So, if the enemy attacks, it's more than likely going to be on this shore or this shore. It looks like 2 of the 4 corners are kind of fortified by mountains, so it's going to be almost impossible for the enemy to land there. Wow, cool to actually see a worker come over and actually do stuff. We do have axemen and scouts. The axemen are probably what we want before the enemy's attack. We'll more than likely need 3 of those squads, but I would like to continue to see the Jarl's house upgrade. Housing space must be at least 30. Not sure exactly how to see that. Oh, wow, there's discontent as well to watch. Mostly when people become discontent, it's with the lack of food. So the Vikings can probably go do things on their own. Housing space is 26. The Vikings can probably take care of a lot of problems on their own, but they do want some basic needs. Food and shelter being some 2 major and understandable things that they would desire. The 26 once that reaches 30. So it looks like each of these homes, including the Jarl's homestead, that might be it right there. 6 plus... Oh, it's 4. Oh, right. Villagers slowly come in. That's based on the population thing. So it's not that they want... I don't think it's that they want housing space to be 30. I think it means population to be 30. And that does unlock it, yep. But we also do get immediately, quote-unquote, free people. This is about as many homes as we need to make. Once we upgrade the houses, they do start increasing. Yeah, I think it increases the level by 4. Increases housing space by 4. Yeah, so that's a dramatic increase. Very dramatic increase to our population. Okay, well, we have only 14 stone there. I'm going to have to do bog iron, though, no matter what. So we've got 1 group gathering bog iron now, 1 gathering stone. We'll turn on the bloomery soon. I guess I did use a lot of stone in the bloomery as well, so no need to build the bloomery first until you've gathered a bunch of... you could probably get away with gathering a bunch of a bog iron first and getting those collection huts going before you build the bloomery and then start processing it. In fact, let's see, 3 workers there can produce quite a bit of bog iron. I think we've already got 2. Oh. Wait, I'm not sure what that means. I think that's... Is that 10? Oh, I think this is storage, maybe. For each of those items. Well, we'll have an enemy coming in about 6 minutes. So we can put gates down. And we can build walls all the way around the camp, too. It looks like just of wood. So palisades can be a thing that we could build. And also gates for those defenses to... lead to the outside. We can make multi-layer walls if we want to, too. We have orchards, fisherman huts. Probably a fisherman hut would be good for us. Let's go ahead and fling that out over here. And we can even build boat docks for our own construction. Oh, building under attack. Well, that's more like lightning that struck there. And let's see if we can build a well suddenly. Ah, yes, I remember this happening all the time. About once a year, lightning will strike. You do have quite a bit of time. They're pretty generous with putting out fires. In fact, this like struck mid-autumn. You actually have like an entire month to put out a fire. Imagine if that were the case in real life, but beautiful weather now. The fog of war kind of makes it difficult to really truly see the beauty of the world around. And there's kind of a, I don't know, the skybox around kind of makes it look like we're supposed to be in a fjord or in the mountains somewhere, but it's really beautiful to see just this landscape here. I want to see that more. Let's go ahead and add 2 people to the well. And we still have no bog iron, but we need people to come gather that. One actually has 2 of them now, so let's go ahead and turn on one of these bloomeries. We'll just add a person for now. Woodcutters gathered 60. Collectors guilds are gathering all the stone and whatnot. See if there's any more deer in there. They'll pop up as a white highlight. Sometimes you have to change that zone for them. And fishing is automatic. You don't need to zone that. It'll just take place when it's not snowing. Okay, getting closer to winter. Actually, the wheel rotates clockwise, yeah, but the time is very close to winter. Is that a bear, sir? Okay, we have ourselves healers now. That'll heal our infantry when they're in once they're out of combat, once the fight is over. For the first, I would say your first couple of waves, you're just better off building a military and spending all your resources on actually building your encampment. Look at that. You can see some roads now going in front of the Jarl's longhouse, and then, oh man, gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. This game has much more potential than I think the devs could even do with another 5 years of development. I don't know what the game could be, but it'd be very interesting to see many more buildings. But the Vikings weren't really necessarily, settlers that then would build things like libraries and printing houses and trade markets and such. I think a few of those things could exist, but really it was just more about like travel and pillaging and then coming on back. So, all right, we're going to start making some iron. And we're going to start making some troops here. So with one more iron, we then have ourselves another group of axemen, but we can also train archers here, shield bearers, spearmen, and scouts. The spearmen are very good at dealing out damage, and same with the archers too. We just need to keep them defended. We got about 3 minutes then. Hopefully we can train up at least one squad. We should be able to hold as soon as that group is ready. Oh, we need something else. 5, what is that exactly? Oh, I think it's, is that free people? We don't have enough people yet. Okay. Or at least most of our people have been put towards economic jobs and not just military. So, our population should increase again. I may have done that earlier. But you can see all the things that modify happiness. And it works kind of similar to how it does in Northgard, where it's just like basic needs met are big improvements. So things like water resource, entertainment, aka mead, a lot of neighborhood houses being built nearby. They like that. Wisdom, health, and faith. So if you build a healer's hut nearby, and if you build a well nearby, it makes people a lot happier. So the population will increase quite quickly. We'll upgrade one more house. Pretty good part of the neighborhood here being covered by both wells and... and winter has sprung. Minute 54 seconds to the enemy's attack. Now these pathways change to snow, and it really looks like Frostpunk. And I'm very excited for Frostpunk 2 as well. It's going to be just a phenomenal time to see how they improve upon a game that almost seems like, how would you improve upon Terminator 1? Well, you make Terminator 2, the movie, right? And that was just a phenomenal first movie and an absolutely stellar second movie. So there's high hopes for the second one being even better than the first. How do you top that in terms of Frostpunk to Frostpunk 2? But a lot of things in this game really remind me of a lot of the other builder games and survival games that I played. So Frozenheim is definitely a good combination of those. Although survival, again, for the Vikings seems rather simple. Basic survival. There's our shipyard. We also have a siege workshop. And we have a weaponsmith too, which will allow us to get more upgrades and such. We're going to go ahead and build ourselves a few of these things as soon as we can, but we're prepping for the first attack. So our units will actually go through training. I kind of missed it, but they will attack these dummies and targets and such based on what they're training with. I think the axe throwers will actually go to the targets and throw, and same with the archers, since they're ranged attacks, but the shield bearers I think will actually fight it out. We need to make some clothing now. Let's see what we can do to make that. And under the first tier we have elders' halls, altars, burial mounds, temples, fishermen, farmers, tanners. That's what we want. We'll start that so we can start getting some archers, and that'll be perfect for building some walls around the camp. I think we'll build over here with our tanner kind of next to our hunter. And a wave is incoming. Enemy troops have got to be around somewhere. We may see Viking ships approach and land. Kind of interesting to be on our own island. This is the first time I've seen this before. Well, let's monitor to see what happens. Oh, the next wave spawns in 2 minutes. Okay. So after the 20-minute prep time, the waves are concurrent every couple of minutes. So instead of 20 minutes per wave, it's basically a couple minute prep time. I want to go with another group of axemen, but we have 5 workers remaining. These houses are filling up. Let's add more. Looks like it also takes stone. 10 wood and 2 stone to upgrade. No attackers yet. They could still be on their way. Or maybe their attack is simply frozen.
Okay.
Additionally, they will have ships out there too that will be patrolling for you, so sometimes they won't attack and they'll actually be out on patrol, and when you try to expand and go explore, they'll attack you, and their raids can be quite big. Hopefully they do attack. I do want to see it. Let's build a shipyard now. Let's build a boat. A big O ship, I should say. The boat is more for the basic exploration, which we could get these scouts going. Putting a... Let's build that next to the fishing hut. And go explore. As you can see, the troops can also be put on different types of stances for aggressive, defensive, or I believe a balanced neutral mode. And then you can also kind of create like lines if you want to. Point them a certain direction. Alright, well, we've got builders coming out for the boats, delivering materials, setting those up. The shipyard is complete, and the coolest thing about this game is we actually get to make our own ships. And essentially you design your ship however you want, change things like the hull size to medium, small, or large, carving type, sail, equipment on board, and that'll change the crew size and the amount of materials and how many people can be on board. Essentially, the bigger the ship, the slower it is, but the more powerful it'll be in battle, and the more people that it can transport and other things that it can do. So it's a pretty unique and useful piece of tech, piece of gear. All right, well, the enemies should be out there somewhere. They haven't... I think they've spawned and they're looking for us. They don't know exactly where we are then. Which is good. Every second that they are looking for us, we have extra time to prepare for an attack. Let's go ahead and go with our archers now. Then next we'll go with like shield bearers and spearmen. Try to get a full mix of everything available. As the tanner is still working, bog iron is still coming in. Eventually we're going to run out of resources, and we're just going to be
That's done.
like we're going to have to do what Vikings do, which is go explore. All right, we have a couple of scouts in the boat. Nice. We can put a few more people in here too. It is now spring. And we'll keep the shipyard offline for a little bit until we've gathered more wood. Archers are training. Troops are on patrol. Oh, good thing that we didn't use our resources on building walls. We built our resources on building more troops. Good stuff. Now, I think if we reach wave 10 out of 10, we'll still have to defeat the enemies that are around us, that have spawned in the world, in order to truly be victorious, to outlast our enemies.
Okay.
Let's go look for other things. Now, I believe in the campaign there's some good stories where different things are taking place as well. Some missions it's all-out combat and ambushing the enemy by hiding in bushes and such, and making your way to enemy camps and clearing those out and helping out townspeople, and then eventually meeting a jarl and having your own fleets and boats and invading other lands. And with some of the campaigns tied to each other but not being exactly the same, it's pretty interesting. All right, this looks beautiful. That is gorgeous. We have our scouts scouting. We got archers and more troops ready to go. We got more logs coming in too. When it comes time to build another settlement, I'm not exactly sure how that's going to work. I'm sure we can settle more than one island, because we will eventually run out of stone and iron to do so. Hello. We have a sunken boat here. How will we take advantage of that? Wave incoming. Oh, we need to go near it and kind of inspect. And then it'll give us whatever bonus happens to be there. Ah. So we got wood and stone from that. I believe that's what we can also find from carts. So boats are just as valuable as sending around scouts too. Although the boat needs to be manned, it doesn't happen magically. Looks like the Jarl's homestead is ready for upgrade again. Let's do it. We're still bringing in bog iron. We're still bringing in stone. I feel like stone gathers very slowly. So always a good idea to maybe build more than 2 collectors. But definitely 2 is a good idea. 1 for stone, 1 for iron. More booty out here. Now, I really want to see some naval battles in this game. Maybe that could be another game mode, is to have the map separated in 2 with a large amount of water in the middle, and most of the battles take place at sea rather than any sort of invasion, although it would still be, it would make sense to land and have to actually attack the enemy camp. Let's go ahead and upgrade our last house if we can. No, they're all fully upgraded. Looks like we might be able to upgrade again when we reach level 4, and the homestead's now level 3. We should be able to upgrade one more time with 30 stone, and we need to have 70. Wow, we need to have 70 people in the camp. That's pretty crazy.
Okay.
Fairly large. Okay, how is resource gathering going? We still need a lot more stone. Bog iron is immediately being made. Wow, look at that. Right into regular iron. How are we doing with the trees? They're still cutting them down as quickly as they can. We could certainly add a lot more industrial buildings, but I think the bigger the camp is, the less thought out it'll look. Partially in my mind now I've switched to playing city building mode because the enemy hasn't yet been able to find us. But keep this in mind, once they do, there's going to be 3 waves heading towards us now. They might be landing at each of the islands and searching them. but I've explored and seen it before where when you go and do an expedition,
Jag förstår.
the enemy may eventually find you and attack with everything they've got once they locate you. Oh, that's a bear. Of course, every game we play is that. Okay, yeah. We're not going to mess with that. Oh, discontent is rising due to hunger. Okay, let's go ahead and start feeding our people then and doing some things like that. Let's build another fisher's hut. Build 2 of those. Let's build an orchard, which is really beautiful. Beautiful round area. And I think the wheat fields are the same. We can also build a windmill, and so with a farmhouse, that'll produce food and skins because it has animals as well. So once the wild animals, the deer, are, I guess you could say, extinct on the island, and that's something that you'll switch to. Alright, so hunger raises discontent, and discontent will get people to leave the camp. Similar to how it works in Stronghold, where people were just like, I'm out of here, and they'll just bail. Luckily, though, we've got some more food sources coming in, the fisher's hut. We just got too many people now, so we must scale up with our city building. So imagine this survival mode if, if we were connected more to flat land, if they were able to find us. They probably will, but imagine how much more of a challenge that'll be, constantly being attacked, also having to balance food and meat and fishing and weapon making, defenses. A lot of work. Alright, let's build a watchtower. I believe these actually can be manned for archers and such, so we'll put our archers in there. And we'll try to build a boat, finally. We'll need a lot more wood for it, though. I want to build the larger boats, just because. We have to. We just have to.
Som du önskar.
Okay. It also would be helpful to see how much food we're consuming versus production. So right now, we've got ourselves an orchard. We've got the 2 fishing huts now that are fully staffed, and we've got a hunting tent. And we can also build a farm, too. Although that's going to take a little bit more wood. So some things, all things with time. Oh, looks like the well could be upgraded. That's good. Upgrading that well is a good idea. And we can get more happiness within the wells and increase content. Ooh, oh, and we get a +2 from the upgraded well. Very nice. So we can build some more homes then. Although, again, we're out of materials. So a good idea to continue to explore on boat. Via boat and
Din
find those.
önskan är min lag.
Really reminds me of when you find knowledge and things like that in Age of Empires, which is a phenomenal game. If you remember Age of Empires, man, that, Rise of Nations. Age of Empires is fantastic, but Rise of Nations is even more complicated, even more complex. That those were people standing there. We have ourselves a tower. Oh, it looks like we can actually assign unemployed people to that. That's great, actually. That's free archers. So long as you can keep the enemy within that circle. That's great. Might be a good idea to build one of those near the longhouse then, just in case the enemy breaks through your defenses. We should definitely build another logging camp now. We need a lot more wood quickly. So let's build another woodcutter's hut. And if we clear all the territory out on this side, we can then start maybe farming over on this side. The trees will continue to regrow, but of course stone and iron will not, so it's going to be important to divert a lot of resources to boat building shortly.
På väg.
Man, that rowboat is slow. The slow boat. Big boat, though. Now, I believe each of the different maps have their own challenges, too. Some of them have narrow bridge crossings. This one's kind of more of an archipelago. Others are mountainous terrain with narrow passes and are a little bit more difficult to build a city on because things are so narrow. Wow, in this case, we've gathered a absolute ton of bog iron. 55 is enough. Let's shut that down for now. And put everybody back on stone mining. And we'll make another woodcutter's hut. And we'll continue to cut down some trees. Another wave present on the map. This is very misleading. You think to yourself that the enemy is not out there, and that if they don't immediately hit the island, that they're never going to find you. But don't let that trick you. Okay, the Jarl needs to be upgraded again with 30 and also 70 space. We'll need many more houses for sure, which means a lot more food. So let's make sure we focus on that. Food is present. Build a farmhouse and then a mill. Build a farmhouse there.
Okay.
We'll keep creeping along to see if we can find any sort of flooded or sunken treasures. Wow, look at how beautiful it is, though. Even in this mode, you can go into photo mode while you're in the middle of it, and it just looks incredible. Just a really beautiful looking game. It would be great to see other things, maybe perhaps like horses and, you know, maybe these weren't as common or popular, but it would just be great to see much more to do on the economic side and the combat side as well. Although there's still a lot present here already, and a pretty beefy campaign. Nope. There's a ship here. Go park next to that. We need more workers. All right, 2 more being built.
På väg.
As you can see, we've only snaked around a few islands. Not really much that we've found so far. And immediately upgrading those. Nice that we actually get some, when we build a house, we get workers right away. We just, in order to meet maximum potential, we need more time to pass for them to actually fill. Oh, here we have ourselves a rune stone. This may give us some bonuses and benefits. Let's go check that out. And then we'll build a big-ass ship. Well, this is certainly building the tension as to whether or not we're going to be attacked. But I must say, in the previous times we've played this, I've been absolutely destroyed by wolves. And it's pretty funny to see wolves attacking a wooden house and see it burn and burst into flame.
Nästan.
Okay.
Klipp ner honom.
Can you go? Got how I got them out of there before. Oh, can we actually use our... Oh, that's interesting. Oh, nice. These scouts have a falcon with them that they can utilize in order to scout. And this also helps us to see threats on the ground while at sea. Companions, a group of experienced warriors. Let's go over here and see if we can pay them or check them out. Oh. Yeah, fireflies are important in this game to identify things. So we have abandoned wagons, a runestone, a group of companions. These are all things that even in multiplayer you can take advantage of to get an advantage over the enemy instead of just worrying about production limits all the time. Wow, we're making a lot of good food now. Good fishing coming in. And what do we have now? I think we're at 50. Okay, we'll build 2 more tents.
Jag förstår.
How do we get you boys out of the boat? Oh, I see. We had to click on the shoreline like that. Okay, I couldn't recall how I did it before. Oh, wolves immediately attacking.
Aye.
Back to the boat then. They are vicious. Alright, back to the healer then. So imagine if those wolves immediately killed one of those guys pretty much instantaneously. Imagine what awaits us out there soon. 8 waves are looking for us. The map is fairly large. It almost is like how Midgard is with a large circle. Lots of wood building up. Well, almost time for us to build a boat. Large wolf. They all do different levels of damage or have different bonuses. Oh, we could build a siege weapon and put it on there, a siege slot. Which is a good way to get through heals boarded units over time. That's great. So yeah, we could actually put siege equipment on there. Uh-oh, they found us. Oh boy. And they apparently buried their boat into the ocean. Looks like they've got siege equipment on board. Nope, it's just archers. Oh, and their boat's on fire. Nice. Ooh, okay. Well, good job, boys. Ooh, good thing we built that tower. I can hear something else attacking. Discontent rising. Well, they found us a little bit.
Som du önskar.
So now they're going to report back. It looks like they followed the scout teams. Oh, the scout teams are dead after they hit the... Oh, they must have followed our boat back and landed next to us and killed that other team. Oh, discontent is rising due to fallen warriors. Smashing is the training inside the camp. We could build an inn, allows you to collect mead and organize feasts to get bonuses and reduce discontent. And raises happiness of nearby households if they're built nearby. Wow. Well, this land is going to be too large for us to build a wall around, or at least seems like it'd be a better idea just to build towers and let the enemy come to us that way. Should be able to move some of the wood gathering buildings around. Wave incoming again. Trees will regrow. We will need to put down a mill. Tier 4 buildings. Trading post at Tier 5. Interesting. Shipyard and a victory hall as well, though it requires the elders' huts first. Food, I think, is of a proper concern. We need warehouses. Makes sense. To store all that flour and other things. Okay. Well, now we've got 4 groups of axemen ready to go. Discontent people are stealing resources. Oh boy. Oh, they're that upset over the fallen warriors, huh? Well, let's increase decrease discontent with some of the other things. The only other things now is faith and wisdom, which I think, Elders Hall for the wisdom and faith for temples and shrines and such, which I believe is the victory hall and some other things we can build too. Let's get the elders in. Wow, the camp is definitely looking full. Not sure how the collection works for the inn. Are they gathering honey? Oh yeah, that looks like honeycombs. So I'm not sure how they actually, is it from the trees? I've actually never built this. This is a newer building for me. So, oh, it's where they place them. Okay, so they actually place down beehives for that. That's wonderful. And you get to set up your own feast size. Now, the only other thing a ship would do is if we were to load that up with siege equipment and such, we could attack an enemy ship. But again, it seems much more beneficial to deal with that while they're attacking us. All right, a warehouse is kind of like the addition of the Jarl's house, where it'll add additional carters for bringing over supplies. So that's good. And now we can upgrade to Tier 4. Not sure if the appearance of the Jarl's homestead changes too much, but obviously it doesn't get any larger with its original building size, but now we can house even more people, which is great. So, final Tier 5 level IKEA. Oh wow, survive enemy attacks 10 out of 10. We have survived since they haven't been able to find us too much, but you know, 2 or 3 large boats coming over at the wrong time in the archipelago is going to spell disaster since it's harder to build defenses. Now what we really want to do is go out and find those enemies. But they will certainly find us. There's a hell of a lot more to do here. So let's see what we have to build. Houses, wells, altars, burial mounds for our warriors, which should lower discontent when it happens. We can build that over here, maybe. Maybe it has a benefit if it's closer to the homes, so they can actually worship close by, or at least remember them. Something like that. We have temples, of course. That's a benefit. Oh, we have some enemies attacking. Oh, there we go. And the archer towers are assisting. There we go. We got a battle. Now these are much more powerful troops than ours. I believe some of these are, they're spearmen and shield bearers. So definitely a little bit more aggressive than your typical troops. Now while they're taking their time to burn down that tower, we can get some training done. Our troops will train in that time. And we do have some more free hands here. Oh, villages actually dropped, but we have our burial mound, so we can do a funeral pyre or ceremonial boats for them too. Lots of detail to this that goes way outside of the combat. Although the combat is very fast-paced, but a lot of great buildings here. Again, trading posts, inns, tanneries, siege workshops. I want to see what some of the siege weapons will be. I'm assuming it's basic catapults and maybe maybe some larger catapults as well. They burned that down, and now we got our troops ready to go.
Jag förstår. Attackera! Fick honom!
Spearmen are ready.
Attackera!
Very good at attack, those spearmen.
Nöd till döds! Jag kan inte dö än.
Nicely done. So all of these troops used in combination are very powerful. If you can have some spearmen defend the front line, then you have some axe throwers behind them, some shield bearers mixed in with these spearmen, and you have archers and city defenses hammering the enemy. That's also very good too. In some other live streams, we've had many defenses with palisades and multiple walls around the camp, so it's definitely possible to do that too. We've done those types of things before. But now that all these enemy groups are out here, all the waves now are out and deployed in the world, now we're going to have to fight against those as we try to expand our influence by starting more camps, which we can definitely do. So it feels a little bit different than multiplayer. It's not like they have a base and that they're out to get us. It's that every island has bandits on it, or bears, or wolves, or raiders who are out looking for us too. They've got their ships deployed and will show up at random. Although I'm not sure where their ship was this time. Well, we could build a small ship this time too. Let's see, we just need 35 hides and 10 iron. So we definitely need to build flagship RAPTORIA now. So let's do that. Cut down some more trees. Discontent workers are leaving. I think that'll always be a problem no matter what. Mostly from battles. Back to bog iron.
På väg.
And we can bring our troops over here to heal up a little bit. Healer's hut should raise happiness as well. And the only thing we're missing now is a faith-based building. And the Elders Hall gives us research. So now we can choose clans, which allows us to take kind of different routes. So we have the Crow Clan, Deer Clan, Bear Clan, and the Wolf Clan. And they all give us different abilities, things that focus more on production, defense, army building, or maybe a combination of a few, that kind of thing. So there's definitely a good rush to the game. There's definitely like a lot of early game tactics, especially rushing technology as quickly as you can. But also a really big late game too of building defenses and trying to siege them and also blockading the enemy as well. There's definitely a way where you can try to cut them off by stopping their fishing, stopping them from exploring, and then continuously hammering their defenses as you kind of wait it out and focus elsewhere. And build your army even more, and then eventually can launch an invasion. That kind of thing. Wow, I'm surprised with this. The attacks will still come in. There's probably some larger ships out there. They've only hit us with small ones so far. But regardless of victory. Unfortunately. I want to keep on playing, but game one, I suppose. Good job. Well, ladies and gentlemen, there is a lot more we did not see in today's episode of Frozenheim. So definitely, if you're interested in this game, check out more live streams and videos on the channel of the campaign, city builder mode, and more survival in different scenarios. This island is a much more unique scenario that kind of makes it so that way the enemy has to find you. There's a little bit of cat and mouse stealth to this mode, but if they find you, it's going to be bad. So, there's many more map types and different types of terrain, campaign mode, multiplayer, and more. So please do smash that like button on the way out if you'd like to see a full playthrough of the campaign on the channel, and much more of the awesome survival mode. I'll see you all next time. Thanks for watching, and add this one to your wish list and check it out today on Steam. It's out now. That's great. Goodbye.